Should the 25th Amendment be invoked against this deranged orange criminal? That's what I want to discuss in this video. I was watching Midas Touch earlier today, and they had a good video where they were running down some of the insane things that Trump was posting all throughout the night on Truth Social. And it really is evidence that this guy is just sick in the head. I mean, he is insane. And beyond that, he is a real danger. He was clearly calling for violence. He posted a bunch of these unhinged QAnon memes. He was reposting people who were just saying the most outrageous, violent, and dangerous things. This guy is unhinged. He's a freaking criminal, and he's mad. He's a madman. And in that video, Ben Meiselas said that we need to invoke the 25th Amendment now. So that's what I want to deal with. Should we invoke the 25th Amendment now? Because obviously, this man should be removed. And obviously, the 25th Amendment would apply here. He is not well. He is not up to the job of being president. So removing him through invoking the 25th Amendment against him certainly would be appropriate. I caught myself because I almost said removing him by the 25th Amendment. That's a misunderstanding that I want to correct here real quick, since I almost fell into the trap myself. The 25th Amendment doesn't actually remove the president from office. It simply temporarily strips him of his authority, and the vice president becomes the acting president. The vice president, while this period of disability in the president exists, the vice president gets to exercise presidential authority. The president remains the president. He is not removed from office. He simply temporarily has his authority stripped from him. So I just want to make that clear. Does not remove him from office. But should we do the 25th Amendment? Well, I've been telling you for a while here, it's been a while since I have addressed this subject, but the 25th Amendment is not the way to go. Impeachment and removal is the way to go for two reasons. One, it actually removes him from office, as opposed to the 25th Amendment, which does not. But secondly, impeachment and removal is actually easier than invoking the 25th Amendment. Let me explain how the 25th Amendment works. You would need the vice president and a majority of the cabinet to submit a letter to Congress to say, hey, the president is not well. He is unable to discharge his duties as president, and so therefore the vice president will become acting president. Okay, so that's all you need to initially invoke it. The vice president and a majority of Trump's cabinet. However, if Trump objects to that, he can send a letter to Congress and say, BS, I'm perfectly fine to do my job. So this is unnecessary. If he does that, then Congress has to decide the issue, okay? And in order for the vice president and the majority of the cabinet to prevail and strip the president temporarily of his authority, Congress would have to, each house of Congress, vote in favor of stripping Trump of his authority by a 2/3 vote. 2/3 in both houses. So if J.D. Vance and a majority of the cabinet tried to invoke the 25th Amendment, do you think Donald Trump would just go along with that? Or do you think he would contest it? Well, of course he would contest it. In which case, you would need 2/3 of the House and 2/3 of the Senate. Now, what would you need to impeach and remove him from office? Well, all you need is a simple majority in the House and a 2/3 majority in the Senate. So which is easier? The 25th Amendment, invoking the 25th Amendment against Trump's will, or impeaching and removing him from office? Obviously, impeaching and removing him from office is a hell of a lot easier. 25th, you need the vice president, majority of the cabinet, 2/3 of the House, and 2/3 of the Senate. Impeach and remove, all you need is simple majority in the House and 2/3 in the Senate. Much easier. But people don't even really talk about it doing impeachment right now because, I don't know, I guess it's because we've tried impeachment twice before and both times it's failed in the Senate. And so I guess people just say, well, that won't work. Well, if that won't work, there's not a chance in hell that the 25th Amendment is going to work. So I'm just saying the 25th Amendment, invoking it to strip Trump of his authority, would certainly be appropriate. It's just a lot more difficult than impeachment. Here's the other problem with the 25th Amendment. Even if you were to do it, even if you were successfully able to get the VP, a majority of the cabinet, 2/3 of the House, and 2/3 of the Senate, and you strip him of his authority, it's only temporary. Trump remains president. And if, later, after he's been temporarily stripped of his authority, he sends them another letter and says, hey, I'm fine. I went down to Mar-a-Lago for a week. I relaxed. I met with, my doctor. He says, I'm fine. I'm good. Yeah, I was just under a lot of stress and I'm good now. So no need for J.D. Vance to be acting president anymore. I'm fine. And we'd have to go through the whole thing again. We'd have to have 2/3 of the House and 2/3 of the Senate. We'd have to keep fighting this battle because Trump would still be president, and we'd have to keep going through this. And that's all we'd be doing until the end of his term, just fighting about whether he is still currently unable to be president. Impeach and remove him, just rip that Band-Aid off all at once and get rid of this piece of shit. Do I think that's going to happen? No. But it's a hell of a lot more likely than the 25th Amendment. And since it is actually easier to do, if we're going to be talking about removing him right now, then we should be talking about impeachment because it's the appropriate thing to do. This man is not just unwell. And by the way, he's not unwell because of something that is going to be corrected, right? This is not something, to the extent that he's friggin' deranged, sick in the head, that's not something that's going to get better. It's only going to get worse. So he needs to be removed. But beyond that, he's a criminal. He's committing crimes in office nearly on a daily basis. It looks like we're still on the verge of invading another country illegally, Venezuela, and he's blowing up boats, murdering people in the Caribbean. He's sending the military into American cities. He's threatening members of Congress with death because they say something he doesn't like. This is nuts. This is criminal. The corruption is off the friggin' charts. He should be removed from office. That is the most appropriate action to take against this piece of shit. Impeach and remove. And since it is also much easier than the 25th Amendment, seems to me impeachment is what we should be talking about.